I would like to demonstrate to you how to create a customer on nddPrint MPS solution, and also how to set up a DCA for that particular customer. So the process, it's very simple. First of all, we need to make sure we have our MPS dealer credentials on place. So I always like to go ahead and open our MPS portal and take a look if I can do the authentication using my dealer credentials. If I can, it's a good step, meaning that I don't need to, recover my password. So then, to start the process to create a customer, first thing we need to do is go to a web page that we call new 360-us.nddprint.com, and from here we're gonna click in a link that says create a new company. So I have here that option, create a company. So once I click here, first question here will be the company name, or as we call the company identification. When we say company, means the customer. And in this case, we're gonna create like customer 123. And just to heads up here, this name here should be like a shortcut for the customer. So you cannot use the spaces or special characters. For example, if you try to do that, this, you're gonna have a error that says that only alphanumeric characters are available or you can use. So in other words, you cannot use spaces or special characters because the license of the software going to be built under this name. So the name is available. The next step, as I mentioned before, going to be the MPS dealer credentials. So if you're able to access the MPS portal as I did before, so now you're going to be able to use your credentials to link this registration with your dealer account. So I'm using my nddPrint _USA dealer account. Now I'm typing my password. So as you see, after I do the authentication, it brings me already to that, this account that we are creating now is related with a reseller that the name is nddPrint USA. In this case, you're going to see your dealer name here. Then a phone number. You can add the phone number of the customer. And then here you have the option to do like a testing or assessment, and also to be like a licensor, right? So you are adding that customer on the system. So when you add that, then we have the information that this is a customer that we can bill, because then it's a purchase option. The evaluation runs for 30 days only. So this is very good for assessments. And then after 30 days, it locks. And then if you choose to make a purchase, you just let us know. So then we can change that on the system, and then we unlock that. The goal here is information that you can use based on the CCP contract volume that you have for each customer. So if they supposed to print 10,000 pages per month, you can type in this number here, and the software going to be able to track, that bunch of pages. So we call that goal. So you're going to be able to track that from the software. I'm just, going forward here on the screen. So my next, screen gonna be to add the location of the company. So I'm doing here, I'm gonna put like our address here. So we are in Columbus, Ohio. So when you type in the address with the state, country, state, and the city, and also the address here, you can click on this button here, suggest a local on the map. So the software gonna show to you exactly the location for that address. We use Bing Maps for this, and this is good to be able to use the map of all your customers on nddPrint solution. So then you're gonna be able to see each location for the customer. So I go forward. Now I can say I can use here like this fields to use as being like a legal name for my customer. In this case, just like the information for the customer. You don't need to follow the, no special characters or spaces. In this case, you can use. It's not a problem. Here, it's just like a number to, the customer. You don't need to add here. Should be the EIN number, but we don't need to add that on here. No problem. This is a session where we ask, as nddPrint has two solutions, the MPS and also the nddPrint 360. This user here is for the 360 portal, where you can offer to your customer the job accounting, tracking, print secure release, and all that. So from here, you're gonna create like just a standard password for that particular portal. You don't need to use or to have that right from the beginning, but it's, as we use the same database entirely on the system, we just ask you to create like the user, the password for the user admin. So then when the time to use the 360 came, you know already the password, and you don't need to take notes because you're going to receive a mail after the registration about this password that you created. So going to the last step here of our customer registration is a validation of the data that you just type it in. If it's everything okay, you're going to finish the registration. And then as you see here, there is an order that was sent to our nddPrint sales team. And it means that we will take the information that you just did, that you type it in about this customer, and then we will make some, we're going to add on our CRM here, and we're going to do some, a work around that registration. And then after that internal process be done, then we're going to be releasing that. So it means that it takes like a few minutes, sometimes more than an hour, because we have multiple customers that need to do the same thing. So I always recommend you to do this registration like 1 or 2 days before you do the install. So then you're gonna have we're gonna have all that process done at the time that you need to do the installation. So of course, sometimes you need to do that quickly. We can help. Just let us know that you're going to be doing like a registration that you need to release quickly, and then we can do that at the time that you do the registration. Otherwise, just use like that 1-2 day time frame, so then we can do all our internal process normally, and then you're going to be able to use to install the DCA on the customer. Here, as we create, remember the customer I created was the customer 123. So it's going to show up here. Let's see. Here we go. So here is the customer 123 that we created. So when you see the customer showing here, and when you receive the emails that the registration was accepted, you can go ahead and start the DCA process that you can do all from the portal here. So you need to go to the monitoring, print hosts. We're going to be clicking and add, selecting the customer, and then we're going to create the, let's say, the customer settings. Once we do that, now we're going to have the option to do the settings. So first thing we need to do is change to cloud and save, meaning that all the settings that we're going to be doing going to be through the cloud. The second configuration is going to be the address list search. So as you see here, we have two options, broadcast and unicast search. The difference between broadcast and unicast is that on the broadcast, once you add a IP address, you're going to put like the subnet here. So I'm just using that as a sample. This is like a broadcast, and we know that when we use broadcast, network-wise, it's gonna do it's gonna trying to find printers on the whole network. Sometimes customers don't like to do that, so that's why we have the unicast option. And the unicast, you can set a range of IP address, so you can do 192.168.10. Let's say 20, and 192.168.10. 150. So it means that the DCA gonna look from the range 20 to the range 150. Just in this range, we're gonna look for printers. We're not gonna do like a broadcast in the whole network. Just focus on this particular range. Sometimes the customer, they have like a individual range for printers, so you can add that here on the unicast. Once you do that, you're gonna see that the DCA does the daily search of printers every day 2 p.m., meaning that you're gonna install that on the customer. And on the beginning, it's not gonna show to you right away all the devices, because the daily search happens 2 p.m. So you can install, and if you install in the morning, you don't need to worry that you're not receiving the data, because the first data that the software is going to start to push going to be after 2 p.m. So whatever, when you do that, setting, if you see, as you see here, you can also add some, hours. So if you are sure that the customer is going to install, let's say 10 p.m., 10 a.m., sorry, you can add here 10 a.m. as being an extra time, save. And then once you do that, you're going to be able to create the host installer. So this is the second setting that I did for this particular customer. So then you can go here and create the print host installer. And as you see here, we have the key for the setting that we did before, right? Then you're going to create the installer. So the process is going to be very simple. It's a web page that's going to open to you, talking about the building like a custom installer. It's gonna just give you the information about language, where do you want it to install, the working folder, if you wanted to create or no shortcuts. Then it just confirms to you what's gonna be on the installer. And then once you click in generate installer, you're gonna receive an email based on the authentication that you did on the MPS portal, and then you have also the link. So in this case, you can forward the email to the customer, or just copy and paste this link and send a new email to the customer. And I'm just going to show to you how the installation looks like here. But it's pretty simple. As soon as the customer receives that, he can download and just execute, and the software not going to make any questions to the user. It's very straightforward. The only question that the software will do is to open ports on the Windows firewall, and we always recommend to do that. So here it's I just download the file from the host, and this is kind of what the customer will see. So we're gonna execute the DCA install, and as you see here, the installation process is very simple. It's gonna just ask a few questions. So shows here the information about the version of the host. It's gonna do like a connection test with the data center. Data center is located in US, so 99% of the customers, they have this connection open, if not 100% with all the US country. So here's the question about the Windows firewall. To add those exceptions on the Windows firewall, I always recommend to leave that, check it. And then installation folder, everything, shortcuts, like it doesn't ask the customer to select. So it comes based on what you just did here on the portal for creating installer. So after that, you just click next, and it's gonna do the installation process. And the nice thing is, once the install is done, you're gonna be able to see here on the MPS portal that the DCA is installed. So you can track down all that. So the main thing is create the customer, create the settings for the DCA, create the installer, send that to your customer so they can install. And then after the 2 p.m. or the time that you set to the DCA do the discovery of printers, the DCA going to start to monitor those devices. So it's pretty simple, the process. Here, I just wanted to wait here, the installation be done, be completed, and then I can show to you what looks like in the portal when this is installed. Yeah, you see that we still don't see any information here. We just need to wait here the installation process be completed. All right, now that it's done, it's gonna open nddPrint web page. But now you see that I have the green icon for the customer 123, so meaning that is online, and it shows the operational system, the IP addresses related with that PC. When you install, don't worry, you're not gonna see printer coming right after the install, but just wait, just give time to the DCA to do the discovery, and then the printer is gonna start to show on the port. Any question you may have during this process, you can contact me or Frank, and thanks for watching.